Welcome to the Idaho Real Growth Initiative 44 by 22. We invite you to follow us on our journey as we travel the state, discovering amazing women who are not only running a small business, but they are making an impact on their community. Listen in as Cristina Perez and Tatiana Morales interview one of the members of the IWBC network.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Tatiana Morales, and I'm the Associate Director of the North here at the Idaho Women's Business Center. And today we have the great pleasure of meeting with Wetalu Rodriguez, and she's from Lapwai, Idaho, residing on Nimíipuu land. We're so excited to have you today. Thank you for joining us. And the first question we have, we're going to go ahead and have Christina ask it.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us today. And to start it off, we're going to ask you, can you tell us a little about your business and how you got started?
Okay, so my business has been an ongoing idea since I was fresh out of high school. I have been beading and sewing for so long. So with beadwork, I've been beading since I was 8. And I've just kind of started out as just cultural traditions and preserving our way of life and our lifestyle. And we did a lot of powwows when I was younger. So my mom made a lot of my outfits and for the gatherings that we went to and the ceremonies. And then as soon as I grew up a little bit older, I was like, I want to learn how to do that. And, you know, as a young kid, I watched my mom do that my whole life. So she was teaching me while she was, you know, just doing things out of lifestyle. And it wasn't intentional. Maybe to her it was intentional, because now as a mom, when I do it, it's intentionally teaching my kids, but I'm not directly teaching them. So maybe hers was intentional as well. But I picked up a lot of the things that she was making, like beading and sewing, and it evolved eventually into a little side hustle when I got to high school. So in high school, when I was doing sports or when I was traveling, going to out of town, that was like my extra spending money. So eventually I was like, okay, I could make money off of this. This is cool. So with that, I picked up sewing probably about 10 years ago now, maybe 10 to 8 years ago. And that evolved and expanded my financial capacity. So that was another stream of income I was relying on, especially when I got to college. I was like, okay, like I can't be at a job for 8 hours a day during the day because I have classes. And then I have my child, I have to worry about childcare. And what's the best avenue for me as a single parent trying to go to school, trying to have an income, and ensuring that I'm spending quality time with my kids. Nowadays, that's so hard to figure out. And I just was really blessed to be able to stay at beadwork, stay at sewing, and keep the momentum going. And eventually I was like, okay, well, I should just make this a thing. I should just turn this into a business and have something to pass down to my kids at least. And if they don't want to take over the business, at least they know the traditions, at least they know the culture.
Right.
You know, it's a win-win situation all the way around, I think. And that's eventually how I started turning it into something more legit and more certified. And I'm actually really brand new. So I just established a certification in October of 2020, and I made my first sale in January. But I've been doing my little side hustle for a while, but to be legit is what I wanted and have it all on paper. So
yeah, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us? Oh, sorry, Tatiana. Could you tell us the name of the business?
Yes, the name of my business is Nchi.wana, and you pronounce that inch like a measuring inch, Nchi.wana, and that means the big river. So basically, as Nimíipuu, I'm also from Warm Springs, Oregon, and Nchi.wana is from that region, and I wanted to pay homage to the fishermen of my family. I have the fisherman blood, although I haven't picked it up and made it something I was consistent at. But my grandpa on my mom's side, and then my dad that raised me was a fisherman. And so I watched it throughout my whole life, and I wanted to pay homage to all aspects of my culture and not just one.
Right. That's so important. And actually, that ties in super well to our next question. So, how does community and family play a role in your business? So, you already mentioned it a little bit in just talking about your family from Warm Springs and then also just your daughters. But could you talk about, I guess, how it ties into the community also?
Yeah, community is huge. I wouldn't be thriving as much as I am without the community that I have. And that's not even just with my business. That's just me as a person and extending to my children and extending to my other family. Um, we have such an amazing tight-knit community here in Lapway, and it's proven time and time again each year with the kids that are coming out of the Head Start, out of the middle school, out of the high school. You know, we have these fundraisers, we have these gatherings, we have all kinds of events that just prove it, how tight knit and close we can be. And we're pretty much
Mhm.
all family here. You know, we fight like family, we love like family, we support each other like family. And it's really amazing to see. And with my business, it's just propelled me to be as successful as I am. And if they're not purchasing from me, that's fine. They're sharing for me on social media. They're liking things, or they're mentioning, oh, you know, bridging resources for me. Like, I heard this, you know, program or grant or department do working on a project, they could probably use your help, or, you know, anything like that. And for the community being as supportive and loving as they are, you know, I want to be able to give back to them. So not only am I making the selling portion of my e-commerce store, I want to eventually build into something a little bit more a little bit more solid, as far as a brick and mortar or like a building where I can sit down and teach classes and run maybe as a nonprofit, and then have people come in and not worry about having to pay and just coming in just to learn. You know, I would rather just teach people to learn and not have to hassle about, well, it's a $30 fee. You know, culture and money should never mix, I don't think. And there's always a possibility where you can provide services for somebody and still meet the financial requirements to get them supplies through grants.
Right.
So,
Mhm. Yeah, that's super powerful. And I think I resonate a lot with that just within my own community that when we talk about money, it's like it doesn't matter when it comes to family, we're going to help each other one way or another. And so it's really beautiful to see that also in your culture.
mhm.
All right, and we're going to move on to question 3. And can you tell us what you consider to be the best part of being an entrepreneur, a business owner?
Well, the obvious, the freedom. The freedom
Mhm.
is
Yes.
huge. You know, in college, I wanted to get the most experience I could. So I knew once I graduated, I knew what I liked already, what I didn't like. I knew what to go into. And I served as a waitress for 10 years. Absolutely loved it for the good 7 years of it. And then after that, it started becoming a job, where I was like, okay, it's I'm here for the income. But I loved it because it was very social. I could talk to people all day long. It didn't feel like I was working. I was I was networking, socializing while making money. And that's what I love. So having my own business, I get to network, I get to socialize and still make money. But on top of that, I'm doing things that I already love to do that just come natural to me. And not only is it coming natural to me, it doesn't even feel like a job. It's just a passion. And so your dream job is doing things you absolutely love and getting paid for it. And then having the financial freedom to do what you like, or having the um, time management freedom, all of that. It's and having the ability to be with my kids. You know, they do go to school during the day, which is nice because then I have a big chunk of hours to get things done, and then they come home. But I'm not so restricted to a timeline where
Mhm.
I can just, you know, pick them up as I please, or take them to lunch, or, you know, it's the freedom of everything, all aspects of it. And investment in myself is so huge. And I'm so small right now, which is fine. Everybody starts small, but I have such big goals where I'm just like, I can't wait from like 3 years from now. And, you know, because the end goal, we all want we all want better for our families. We all want, the best for our kids for when they grow up. And, I envision those things. I envision having a house of my own, land of my own, and, that's the goal. So the freedom to invest in myself how I want and when I want to is huge for me.
I
Yes,
absolutely
that's
love
so
that.
Mm-hmm.
And as a mom, I feel like just you have to juggle so many things just to start off with. So being able to have that business and create your own schedule and mold it around your kid's life is just so important. And it's it's perfect for moms.
Yeah. And you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to say, well,
right.
my kid has been sick. And there's been plenty of times where I've had to really be like, well, I need to get my kid to the doctor or something. And it,
Mhm.
it's, it's in a way like demeaning, and it's just like you're having to explain yourself of something so basic where it's like, this is just something we do as moms. Why
Mhm.
should I explain to somebody about, how severe a case is with my child? And even though sometimes it's not always like that, you still have to explain to somebody else why you have to take that hour off,
Right.
and that's just something we feel obligated to do, so yeah, the freedom to be able to do all that and not have to worry about telling somebody else or relaying a message is big. And ever since I was younger though, I always knew that I was going to have something of my own. I was going to work for myself. And like I was saying, and when I was in college, I did a lot of internships. I did a lot of like volunteering to kind of figure out what I liked. And I did AmeriCorps, and AmeriCorps is super fantastic for students getting right out of college, which is what I did. But I realized I wasn't a computer person for 8 hours a day sitting at the computer. I would fantasize like projects I could be working on. And I'm like, I could be beading right now for 8 hours, or I could be making something. And my creative spirit was just, it was so restricted to just the computer. And I was like, yeah, I don't know if a computer for 8 hours a day is for me. So that's what really pushed me to like get the paperwork and start paying all these fees to get certified. And as soon as my Vista ended in August of 2020, 3 months down the line in October, I was like, all right, certify me. Like,
Yes.
so it was one thing after another. And I really feel like it was a domino effect. Everything kind of just fell into place. And going into Vista this last year of 2020, it was really just a placeholder for me, just because I didn't really quite know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do this business venture. I wanted to make it mine. I wanted to make it a reality. But I just graduated, and I graduated with a psychology degree. And I also had wanted to go into more school, so into grad school. And I was like, well, if I go to grad school, I don't want to be in debt for the rest of my life. Like, I need to make sure this is what I want to
Right.
do. So I took that year off. I just did the Vista work, and working with Jonelle really propelled me and really like just got me prepared, and I felt comfortable. I wasn't scared anymore. I mean, the risk is always there. Like, I was still scared. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little scared still, but taking her classes and being around financial vocabulary and financial terms and just hearing it over and over, then I started becoming more comfortable. So I
Mhm.
actually, thank Jonelle so much, because she gave me the opportunity to work as a Vista in the Nimíipuu Fund. And that's how I became so comfortable, and it wasn't so scary anymore. So, yeah.
That's so awesome. And then our last one for you is, what piece of advice would you give to a new business owner or somebody that's just starting out?
Somebody that's just starting out. Oh, I wish we could talk and have a cohort, or what do you call like a hub with new business owners? Because I'm still pretty brand new. I still have a lot to
Uh-huh.
learn. When I get around another entrepreneur or someone who's very seasoned or not as seasoned, I feel like we can exchange so much information. So, I
Right.
mean, I would say my best advice is talk to people. Don't be afraid to get out there and at least say, hey, I'm so and so, I'm working on this, or even just go, if you've been to a workshop, go to the same workshop twice. Like there's things I miss all the time. And every time I see an opportunity for a webinar or before the pandemic, like the in-person ones, the Jonelle has a lot. I always go, and it's always nice just to see the presenter and hear what their experiences are, what they've encountered, because then you can take their information, apply it to yourself, and then take the people in the crowd that are asking questions and telling their story and do the same thing. And eventually when everybody gets established, or if they want to use each other to get established, they can collaborate. And so just don't be afraid to if you're afraid to jump and get certified, don't be afraid to start networking. You know what I mean? Like, don't, like, you gotta take a step somewhere. So I really honestly, encourage getting out there, and, you don't have to make yourself known, but at least like slide in there and listen to what everybody has to say.
Yeah.
And just listen and take in all the information that you can, really. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a great piece of advice, because you learn so much. Like, you meet another business owner, they might have something in their wheelhouse that you don't, and it's just like an exchange of information all the time. So that's such a great piece of advice. And Wetalu, I just want to say thank you so much for being here with us today, and for telling us about your business and about your story of how you started it. I think you have such a powerful story, and we are so excited to just see your business continue to grow.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited to grow and offer more services. So I really appreciate you reaching out to me. Definitely.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of 44 by 22, engaging with women all across the state of Idaho. The Idaho Women's Business Center is funded in part by a cooperative agreement with the U.S. Small Business Administration. We look forward to working with you. Connect with us today at idahowomen.org.